G'day, let's have a look at this 3M Peltor SportTac active earmuffs. So these ones here are a slim set, which means they've got slim cups and they do also fold away, which is really nice because they make a really small size once folded away. So this is an active set. I've just got another, this is just a Pro here set here. This is a passive set, no active in there, but you can see it actually even folds up smaller, so that's really good. And just for comparison as well, this is just a big set of earmuffs that doesn't fold up, so you can just see for, I guess, a bit of size comparison there. These ones here are absolutely fantastic and fold away really, really small. All right, so continuing with these, firstly, the build quality of this is just fantastic. I'm really happy with this. 3M does a really good job, especially these cables that actually lead from the top of the cup through the head rest and then onto the other cup. These cables are really good, and they need to be, because they're going to get a lot of wear and tear. And you can see over there they get a little bit pinched, not too bad, but a little bit pinched when it is folded away. But this has a really nice cable, so the insulation on that's going to be really good, just to transfer the power through and any other communications that they need to do through them. The top itself, there's just two metal wires around the side that hold it together, and then you've got this padding all the way through. So this padding is good. I've worn this for hours at a time and haven't really had an issue, but it isn't as comfortable as a padding on some of these bigger ones. But these are also heavier, so it does need to have more padding. But I really haven't had too much issues wearing this as well. So this set I primarily use for shooting. I just wanted a set out there for the range. So this is obviously active. I can just have it on, talk through, hear everybody, have no problem at all communicating, and then just go straight into shooting. And the moment you pull the trigger, this will detect that sound of the extra volume coming through and just cut off the speakers on the inside, and it will just be a nice quiet set. So the other thing to talk about when I'm talking about the outside is you can adjust this. So you can see I've pulled that through. For example, that one is completely closed. This one here, I can pull that through. So that's there just to adjust the height. Obviously everyone's head is different, so you can adjust exactly where they sit on your head. Now this is quite difficult to pull through. You got to pull quite a lot of force through, but that is a really good thing, because once these are set to the height that you don't want them sliding back and forth, and when they're in your head, you don't want them slipping down. So I really like that feature that they've made that really hard, but good, because once you set it, you then forget it and that's it. The only thing I've noticed is if you do have this out too far, they just won't fold. So you can see that this will stay out. So then you've just got to push that in as well. So not really a big deal, but when you take them out, you just do have to readjust that once you do fold them away. And actually with that folding, so these fold in really nice and they go into my range box really well. So they take up very little room in that range box, and I've actually got a second set. So I've got a set for me and a set for someone else if they come shooting with me. So that's nice. We can again hear each other. So really love the set. Obviously they've got two of them. Absolutely love them. All right, so as far as the controls, so actually let's look at it this way. So this faces forward, so the sound will be coming forward towards you, and each cup has its own microphone. So each cup will actually sense when it needs to cut off and cut off the sound. Then on the back here, you've got that on button and you've just got a minus and plus. So that on and off button, you just hold for a couple of seconds and it will turn that noise or turn that listening sound on. So then it will play the sound through and you'll be able to hear people's conversation and just basically talk normally, and it will get projected into the cups. And with the plus and minus, you can then just adjust the volume of how loud that talking and other sounds that come through. And again, once it's too loud, once it reaches that threshold, it will automatically cut off and it will just stop playing those sounds through, and it'll just be completely off and quiet and actually be dampening all the noises. So the way you open this to replace the batteries is this cover just comes off. So you pull this little tab here, obviously as you saw, and then this cover comes off. And then on the inside here, obviously this side, you don't do anything, but you can get different colors of these. So if you want, you get black, you can get colorful ones, high-vis ones, all sort of stuff. So you can then put that on top. And then you can see these buttons here, a little bit of the electronics there. Now the really nice feature here is you can see how shiny all that is. So that means that's got a nice conformal coating on top of that, and it is actually a little bit greasy as well. So there's grease in all of this, which means these aren't waterproof, but there will be a little bit water resistant. So if it does rain, not too heavily, but if it does rain a bit, you will be fine. You can continue to use them. So that's really nice to see with the electronics. With the electronics obviously being nice and high quality. And then here you can just see that microphone on this side. So either way, that just snaps back on and then you lock it in place that way. This side here is actually where the batteries are. So you can see that bat sign there, and just pulling that down again, same sort of thing. Open it up, you can see a little bit of electronics, the microphone there for that side, and then you can just see these 2 AAA batteries. So I've had these batteries in here since I've bought this. So I've bought this maybe six months ago. I've used it quite a bit, and this is still the same set of batteries in there. So this is fantastic. It's got a really long battery life, but I do keep spare batteries in my range box. Just obviously when this dies, you don't want to be caught out. So just swap out those batteries and you're good. And again, this covers just ABS up here, just in case anyone's interested in that. And again, you also replace this side when you buy these in sets. You buy them in sets of 2 and they can be replaced. All right, so that covers the features pretty well. These are a really good set. The one drawback of them that I've noticed, so the one little complaint I guess that I do have, is when you do fold them, obviously apart from that wire sticking out and then just having to push them in, not really a big deal. It is just slightly annoying the next time you go to use them, you do just have to pull them back out. So that would be nice if they had a little bit more space just for this to be able to stay, but then again, that would compromise the overall size, and I probably rather would have a more compact size than that. So that's a fine feature. The only thing is you can see up the top here, when they are actually folded, how much this rubber gets squashed. So right at the top, this gets quite squashed in. So you can try to prevent that from happening a bit more by pulling this in all the way, just making sure that is nice. But again, these tips just will end up being squashed together. So long-term storage, you probably don't want to be storing them like that because it will get quite pressed together. And you can see, yeah, you can kind of see that a little bit. It is a bit thicker down the bottom than up the top here, just because that's been pressed. These have been put away for maybe a week or 2. So that has just put a little bit of force on that and squashed it together. So not a massive issue. These rubber cups are absolutely fantastic. So this set here I've had for maybe 2 or 3 years, and you can see how nice that rubber there looks. It's just fantastic. While the rest of it is quite a bit more worn and a few things are showing signs of wear, but looks like it's the same material for that, so that's fantastic. But you will actually notice, so that's a good way to compare them like this, is you can see how much more squished that looks on my left on this set here, just because of that pressure that's applied, because these ones here don't have any pressure, they just sit like that and that's it. But these ones here do have that pressure pushing them together. And again, when they are packed away, even on this other set here, you can see that just gets a little bit squashed. So maybe to fix that, if you are storing them for a long time, maybe just put something in between and just let them kind of sit open like that. But then you also don't want to stretch this out too much, which you probably won't. So I don't know if it's a big issue. 3M's a really good brand, so they would have thought about this and put something in place for it. So I don't think it will cause a lot of issues, but it can just force this to crack or not get as much sealing here around the ear. So that's that. So either way, summarize, again, fantastic set. These are really good for shooting, but you can use them around the house, you can use them for whatever. Active feature is really nice because you could also have them turned off and just, you know, have them on, act as a passive set all the time and just be off all the time. But then if you want that activeness, you just turn it on and that's it. And the battery lasts for a very long time. So really happy with the set. I'll put links to all this below if you do want to check any of this out. I really appreciate using those links. It helps support the channel, so that's very much appreciated. Likewise, hit that subscribe button so I can keep making these videos. And as always, have a good one.